What's good? So I'm not actually sure if you can 100% see me, but just listen to me. So I'm trying to get back on the vlogs. I do love vlogging. It's just been super busy this year with trading, and everything's been trading focused, to be completely honest. So I haven't really had a chance to vlog too much, but in the new year I do want to vlog a lot more. Basically, just to tell you the truth, I've had a series planned for a while, and I will be bringing out a series, but things are just not ready yet, which is kind of what I've been hinting at for a while. So with that in mind, I've kind of just been putting videos out there, but it's kind of just been, you know, like paying time, giving time. I don't know what the correct phrase is, but that's what I've been doing. But once the series drops, it's going to be sick. So can't wait to start, you know, vlogging a lot more recently, and especially because I've finished a lot of the testing that for this year anyway. I've got a lot more next year, but I've got a lot of the foundations in place. Be able to vlog a lot more, so it'll be sick. But right now I'm going to go to the barbers, and then I'll join you afterwards. So we are back. I'm currently waiting for a potential position on pound dollar. Just going to wait and see how that develops, and then I want to jump on here and just vlog because number one, it's been a while, but number two, I've just finished my substrat, so I've just finished collecting the data on this substrat. So it's taken me a while. It's taken me a while to kind of figure things out, but things are getting there. So it's looking good. So I've got 2 years so far, so I haven't got 2018, and this is a question that I do often get by you guys. So what data do you get? You know, what years of data do you get? So for me, I collect 3 years. So recently it's 2018, 2019, 2020. So that'll be, you know, the game plan going forward as well, with any further adjustments and stuff like that. So that's what I usually look for. Now in terms of the things that I mainly look for, it's kind of the obvious stuff, but then I do go in more in depth. So let me explain. So number one, the equity curve. How does it look? So as you can see by this, it's very, very consistent. It's not, you know, rockety. It's not the bust and boom typical, you know, trader result kind of thing. It's very smooth. It's very consistent. That's what I'm looking for in data, to be able to see, okay, can I do this sustainable? Yes or no? And by the sounds of this, I can. So pretty confident I can execute these in live conditions. I haven't started live trading this just yet. I've taken a couple tester positions, but nothing too big. So what the plan for me is to start off, and I'm going to be risking up to 0.25%, so not a lot of risk. So I'd rather, you know, start trading live with it with a very minimum risk, but then increase that over time as the wins increase, as my confidence increases, etc. So yeah, bearing in mind this is just one pair as well. So on 0.25% risk, the percentage gain over 2019 was 51%, just over. So it's very good on 0.25% risk. Then you up it to 0.5, and then it goes to 1.5. So we've got that. 126, sorry, not 1.5. And then if we then put 1% in, this is when it really gets scary, but I'm not going to be jumping ahead of the curve. But that's 39548, so that's pretty insane. So you can see it's pretty consistent, it's pretty insane. As we can see, the average win, ignore all the balances, I'm more so focused on the metrics. So we've got average win is 5.76, which is good for me. And then in terms of this, we've got win rate and strike rate is 58.93. Now, to be honest, that was something that I had to look at a couple of times, because my minimum usually is 60% strike rate, especially, you know, wanted to increase capital over time. I didn't really want anything below 60 because it's just too much fluctuation in the equity curve. I'd rather that be as smooth as possible versus being, you know, erratic and get there very, very slowly. However, due to the fact that it was very healthy looking, let's put it that way, in terms of compounded return, I was happy to drop that percentage with strike rate, with win rate a little bit. So that was the focus for me personally. But yeah, I'm going to leave that for now, and then I'm going to join you back here whenever, and then we'll go over a few more things. What's good? So it's currently the day after, and I've got some questions that you guys have sent in. So I thought, while I'm drinking this on my way back home, I thought I'd answer a couple, and it'll be good. So there's a couple of quick ones here, and then there's a couple of more detailed ones. So first one is, have you ever opened an account of $10? Let me think. No. I don't mean that in a bad way, but like, I don't think you should be focused, in my opinion, on opening an account with $10. Like, even if you did just have $10, you're not going to be scaling an account with $10. So I would honestly just start off with a demo, trade a demo until you build up capital, and then start trading live. I don't think there's any point even, you know, opening an account with $10 or $100. To me, there's just no point. Maybe 1,000, but that, yeah. As you just develop capital, then go in. But $10, no, not for me. Okay, so this is a decent question. So, doesn't trading get boring after a while? Like minimal social contact with other people, etc. You know, that's been a common theme of this year anyway. So trading isn't any different. But I would just say, as long as you've got friends outside of trading, as long as you have social groups outside of trading, whether that's friendships, relationships, etc., etc., then you're pretty good. Because I have an inner circle of other traders, so we have probably 5, 6, 7 people that I connect with closely, it doesn't really get boring. And because I love trading and because I love doing my testing, yes, it gets, you know, a bit mundane sometimes, it's a bit boring sometimes, yes, but overall I'm in love with the process. And because I love the process and I love the journey and I love where I'm going to in the future, it doesn't really get boring. Yes, I have periods of being boring, but all the time it's not boring. So I would just say, as long as you enjoy it, it's like anything. It's like, you know, you want to be a joiner, an electrician, whatever you want to do, as long as you enjoy it, and you know, no one can take that away from you. So I do love trading, and I always have. So for me, the mundane, boring work can get boring, but I still love to do it, if that makes sense. So yeah. So I've had a couple of these questions crop up, so I'm going to answer it right now. What strategy do you use right now? So people are always curious, always keen. I'm trading my own stuff. So I'm trading my own stuff now. It's been a while in the making. Obviously, you guys have followed the entire journey. I've been from Falcon and then learned stuff outside of Falcon too. Do I use anything from Falcon right now? I'm going to collab that together. No, I did for a while, but I've kind of phased it out. The more I've grown, the more I've developed this year, it doesn't really make sense. It's like once your mind's stretched to a certain, let's call it dimension, right? Once your mind's stretched to that dimension, it's very hard to return back to that normal, basic place it was, if that makes sense. Because I've stretched, because I've grown, because I've acquired new knowledge, it doesn't make sense. Like the same entries, the same stuff, if I was to go back trading that now, it just wouldn't make sense. So I don't really trade, well, I don't trade Falcon anymore. I've got my own style. So I've got two styles basically. So I've talked about this before, but just to reiterate, I've got my main strat, right? I've got my main strat, and then that is pretty passive. It's very passive. It's on 3 pairs in the foreground and then 2 pairs running with the slightly different entries in the background. So I've got pound dollar, pound yen. Pound yen's become pretty much my new favorite pair. Pound yen is very nice. I like pound yen. So I've got pound yen, pound dollar, euro dollar, and in the background I've got Aussie dollar and euro yen. So with just those 5 pairs, I know that I can trade them well, and I can trade them sustainably over the long run, and they generate me enough return based on the data over the last 3 years to, you know, just to do really well. So I've got that as my main strat, and then on basically I wanted something more active because I you know, I am a full-time trader. I do YouTube as well for sure, but at the same time I wanted to get my teeth stuck into more trading stuff, more active stuff. So because of that, I started to build and find ways of creating day trading style. It's not necessarily creating it, but it's like putting some of my common knowledge that I've learned this year into one and trying to fit that together. So that's what I've done. Finished the 1 pair now, which is exciting, just in time for Christmas, which is sick. So I've got pound dollar on that, and the returns are very, very healthy. The strike rate's a little bit lower. I would have shown that clip at the beginning of the video, I think. So the strike rate's around 58%, which is a little bit lower than what I would usually like, but the profit and loss makes up for it. So I'm happy with that, super pumped, and I can't wait to start trading that live in 2021. So it's going to be sick. I'll keep you updated with that, and when I start trading that live in the new year, I'll let you know. I'll let you know how it does. This is a decent question. So name one single book that you have ever read and felt like it impacted you so much. To be honest, I've actually got this on my desk already because I was flicking through it before, but I would say there's probably 10 to 15 books that I really, really do like. So I already have that down below, so I've got like a kit together, and all my favorite books are on there, so definitely check that out if you haven't already. But I would say don't know whether this is the best one, but this is one of my favorites. The good old classic Think and Grow Rich. The good thing I like about this though is that it goes a lot deeper than what you first thought. You know, the average person, it says on here, over 15 million copies sold worldwide. Now, you could look at that and be like, well, if 15 million people have read that, how come 15 million people aren't successful having read it? Now, the reason with books, and what I think about this as well, is that Napoleon Hill gives a lot of good concepts, but he will literally scratch the surface with a concept, give you a clue or give you a spark to kind of research it more. So for example, right, let's go over a chapter. Let's choose a random chapter called The Mystery of Sex Transmutation will be that chapter. So you could read that chapter, right? And he says some very, very good concepts that make you think twice about a few things. But the majority of people would just read that and just be like, yeah, it's a cool concept, and then just live their normal daily life back to front again. There's not many people out of those 15 million copies that are going to be digging into things a lot more. But if you're one of those people that want to find more, he gives you the spark. He gives you that initial rush to kind of do the research, figure out how you can apply it into your own life and see whether it's worth for you. That's what I like about this book. So almost you have to look beyond the words. You know, especially with a lot of books, especially with Think and Grow Rich, you have to look beyond the words and you have to do the self-work that he talks about in there. But majority of people don't want to do that self-work because it's hard, because it's uncomfortable, because it's a new concept that they may not have heard before. So people are very skeptical and very hesitant when it comes to doing work themselves. But you've got to do that self-work, man. So yeah, that will be, I would say that one. Think and Grow Rich is good. I still need to read The Laws of Success. I haven't read that yet. And there's a few books I haven't read, but that will be one of the favorites for sure. One more thing to finish off that question as well. I'm just going to go onto my Kindle and have a look, because I read some good books recently. So yeah, there's a couple in here that I really do like. So let's go through 4 or 5 of them. So we've got The 5 a.m. Club. That's a really good book. Awaken Healing Energy Through the Tao. That was really good as well. More on the spirituality side of things. The User Guide to Balance. That was a really good book. Shout out to Sean Lee. Respect that for that book. That was really, really good. A lot of knowledge in there. And then The Way of the Superior Man. That was really good as well. So a bit of a mixture in there. And then Black Box Thinking as well. Black Box Thinking by Matthew Syed. That was really good. So just been reading a lot of books on the Kindle recently. Got myself a Kindle, just read that now. I just find them, I don't know about you guys, but for anyone that's got a Kindle, I just find them really easy to read compared to standard books. I always used to, not procrastinate or anything, but like I would always prioritize trading stuff over reading. But with a Kindle, I just find it so much easier to kind of pick it up and read it. So even if it's for 20 minutes here and there, I just read it pretty much all the time now. So yeah, but let me know what your favorite books are. Like what have you read in the last 3 months that have impacted you, that you find is a really good book? It could be in any area. It could be, you know, financially, personal development, health, spirituality. It could be anything. Just let me know. Let me know your good recommendations. I'll check them out. This is a good one. So what does success mean to you? For me, success is not just financially. I think that's an aspect of it for sure. But for me, it's being in a very good position financially, emotionally, spiritually, physically, mentally, every aspect of life, just having on the ball, you know, having set up, having a good foundation for, having just freedom, to be completely honest, and to be a rock to the people around me. So whether it's friends, family, anyone that kind of needs my help, I can reach out and offer that advice in a certain area or just help them out. That's what success means to me. But also it goes beyond that, and it's almost like long term, past 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Something that I built that can withstand the length of time. So that sounds a little bit depressing, but when I'm not here anymore, to have something here in my name or behind me that shows the work that I put in this life, if that makes sense. You know, I don't want to get too deep, but that's what ultimate success for me will be, you know. But if you look at, I don't want to get too deep into it, but if you look at you know, there isn't that many people that are remembered after they've gone. I want to leave something that is remembered after I leave, if that makes sense. Okay, so last couple of questions to finish this off. So what have we got? I'll try and throw in a few different ones as well as trading. So, favorite muscle to train at the gym? Chest. What is your favorite car? Audi R8. You should know that. What are you doing? Only joking. Any book recommendations? We talked about that before, so go back to the previous clip. Benefits of red light therapy that you've noticed. I would say mainly enhanced focus and just the feeling of more awakeness in the day, because it's almost like being in the sun for 10 to 20 minutes, I would say. So that initial, after you've been in the sun, whether it's sunbathing or you've been on the beach or whatever it is, you just feel more awake. Same thing with red light therapy. So I feel like that in the morning, which is good, which when you have dark nights outside can be really good. So that, why did you leave Falcon? Talked about that in a previous video, go back to it. Do you have a community? No. Are you taking a break from trading this holiday? I will be, actually. It's been a busy year. I put a lot of work in this year. I put a lot of work in before, to be completely honest, but just to be completely transparent, a lot of work. Periods of definitely burnout, especially recently. I got a little bit ill recently. I think that was just literally burnout from all this work that I've done this year, but I will be taking a break. So tomorrow is Christmas Eve. I'm still filming, always finding stuff to do, but I reckon Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day I'll have off, and then 27th, 28th, 29th I'll start to build that momentum that has already been built up from this year into 2021, because like I said, I think I said before, I want to be on the ball for January 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, because those kind of days early on in the year when the liquidity is high, when the volatility is high, that tends to be a very good period for trades. For the last 3 years, there's been some insane trades on the first few days of January, so I do not want to be missing that. Just wondering, until when do you think you're going to trade? I guess that's what age I think you mean. I'm not sure. I see myself doing it for at least the next 10 years, 15 years, probably longer. My goal has always been to trade, basically I want to have other businesses alongside trading, obviously, but I do want to trade passively alongside that, even 10, 20 years down the line, before the whole AI stuff kicks in, but we'll see. So that'll be interesting. And then last, I'll do a couple more. Do you trade smart money concepts? Yes, started to dig my teeth into that a lot recently, over the last month or two. Been learning different content, been applying some certain things. That's what my substrat is based off, kind of. So yeah. So the last question, which we're going to finish off this video with, is a great question. So what's the biggest thing that's helped you progress at the start of your FX journey? To be completely transparent, I'm going to separate this into things. So the biggest thing that's helped me, just saying it straight up, I think is my mindset, my perseverance, my persistence. From an outside perspective, I'd had people, especially on YouTube, especially the pressure that comes with doing YouTube videos and people looking up to you, even though, sometimes you're not in a position to even, I want to say give advice, but I always look at it in a way of, well, if I'm on page E of my trading journey, let's look at it in an alphabetical order, right? Z being the master. Let's say I'm on page C, D, or E, right? Now, if someone's just starting out they're on page A, I see myself as giving back to them. I can give advice because I've been through that stage. I'm not necessarily coming from a standpoint of I'm on chapter Z, for example, and trying to give back to, because that's not me. I'm on chapter C, D, E, let's say, and then I'm trying to pay that forward to people just coming into the space, to save them time, to give them knowledge, to give them practical things that they can take away, or things that spark interest, or things that have helped me that I can pay forward. So I would say, without getting sidetracked, I would say my mindset, my long-term mindset, knowing that it's going to take time, knowing that it's a skill that takes time, it's a learning curve, it doesn't happen overnight. That has been the biggest thing that's helped me. But equally, just dropping all ego, just being completely transparent, I think that if I was to go back in time, I reckon I could shave a lot of time off my trading journey. But I say that to say this, would I necessarily do that? I'm not sure if I would, because although there's part of me that's like, I probably would do, But at the same time, you've learned that knowledge for a reason. This is why I'm a big believer in terms of, if you join a new strategy or you try a new style, don't just forget everything you know about what you've learned before, because it could come in handy. Even if it's 5 years down the line or 5 months down the line, it could come handy. And although it might not serve you at this current moment, it might do in the future. So don't be too egotistic or too biased in terms of, yeah, my old strategy was no good and this new strategy is the best, because it's the same mindset. It's the same mindset that the majority of people fail with, because they're jumping from strategy to strategy, shiny ball syndrome. A new thing comes up, a new strategy comes up, a new style comes up with that has potential to make them higher returns or better risk to reward, whatever it is, and they get hooked to it, and the same cycle repeats over and over and over again. And being in the space almost 4 years now, you have no idea how many times I've seen that happen to people around me. So that's why I'm a big believer in acquiring knowledge and picking up bits of pieces along the way, but not necessarily going 100% in and then dropping all the knowledge you've learned before, because it doesn't make sense. But I say that to say this: I wouldn't change too much, because all that retail based knowledge, I'm still a retail trader, by the way. Unless you've got, in my opinion, unless you've got a lot of access to capital, or you're trading for an institution, bank, whatever it is, you're still pretty much a retail trader. But you can tap into institutional based knowledge to potentially trade a lot more effective. So that's what I'm trying to do and trying to learn right now. But yeah, if I hadn't have learned that retail based knowledge from different places in the beginning, in the first 3 years, I wouldn't see things from a big picture. So I could look at things right now, and I can look at, okay, support, resistance, patterns, indicators, whatever it is. I can look at that from a bigger picture, because I've experimented with pretty much all of them now, or a lot of them, and I can look at, okay, this is where the majority of new traders come in and trade this way. How do the bigger bankers, how do the bigger institutions, how do the bigger players within the game tap into that to target liquidity, to target gaps, to target all these different imbalances within price and all this kind of stuff? How do they do that, and how can I use that to my advantage? So, but if without that retail based knowledge ahead of time, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing now and learn what I'm doing now, at least as quick as I'm doing. So I don't know if that makes any sense, but it will make sense in the future when I dig into it more. But yeah, so it's been an interesting journey. I could change certain things, but it wouldn't be the same journey, and the end prize in the future wouldn't be as sweet if you just sped up that journey. Do you think, Ronaldo, Kobe Bryant, all these different greats within each industry, do you think they would change their journey? Probably not. So everything for a reason, man. Everything for a reason. But I'm gonna end this video here. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. It's been a little bit different, but I love doing vlogs, man. I don't really like the videos where I'm just sat down talking, to be honest. I know they're helpful, but I do like vlogs. So vlogs are going to be coming back into the scene 2021, so it's going to be sick. But yeah, peace out. Hope you enjoyed this Q&A and the video as a whole. Have a good Christmas, have a good New Year, and I'll probably speak to you in between for a new vlog or video. Speak to you soon.